Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of XBS Hub, the story behind the coach. Today's guest is the legendary handballer Ljubomir Vranjes from Sweden. And for any handballer out there, this is a must-watch or listen episode. But for any coach in any sport, I think you might find this very interesting. So make sure you check it out. Welcome to the show, Ljubo.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for doing this. It's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
So what I wanted to do is, because we had a lot of handball players and coaches within the XBS community that were really excited about this episode. So this is the first time I got sent in a lot of questions for you. So I want to mix it up a little bit. I want to ask you about your coaching philosophy in general, and then maybe get into some specifics later, handball specifics. But what I want to know first is a little bit about your career, because you started playing handball, and I want to know, why were you so determined to play handball when your environment, including coaches, even your dad, were maybe telling you that that wasn't the right path for you?
Sometimes you can't explain things why
Right.
you do it, but I think at the end it was fun. I had a lot of fun playing, and I got a pretty good chance to play with the first team as a young player. I started training with them at 16 years old already. And then with 17, I did my debut, and it was fun. I mean, soccer was also fun, but why exactly is difficult to say.
Yeah,
Sometimes
right, because I even read somewhere that your dad even offered you to buy a brand new car if you decided to go with football instead of handball. How could you say no to that as a 17-year-old?
I already made up my mind. I'm pretty stubborn in some ways.
Right.
So I already made up my mind, and that is when my dad proposed. Okay, we do like this. You choose football, and you get a. But in my mind, I was already gone.
Right.
So. And 17 years old, if you said I'll buy you a car, if you continue with handball, I probably choose football.
Right.
So
you were a rebel.
Yeah.
Yes. And when looking over your career and as a young player, I can see that, or I get a feeling that you had a lot of drive, that you worked very hard. Can you give like an idea of what that hard work looked like? Like, what did your day look like at a young age? What was the work you put in?
If you went to school, then you went to school. When you came back from school, you had something to eat, and then you were on the streets, playing hockey, playing football, playing handball, playing whatever you can do. You imagined games for yourselves with your friends. So hard work, yeah. In practices, you always did the hard work. You wanted to develop. You trained extra and so on. But what I really did was you had training for 2 hours a day, but you trained for 12 hours. Because you were always on the street training, and that is missing today. The spontaneous sport.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that today. Yes, if you say that FIFA and Minecraft and all these games are spontaneous sports as well, then yes.
The esports.
Esport. But today you don't have spontaneous sports by kids. They go to the training, they practice 2 hours, then they go home and they sit and play some games on video games. And for us, we had the Commodore 64 and some we have to that was a disaster if you compare today. But for us was we before the training we played handball or football on the streets. We trained, and then after the training we continued to play handball and football on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ask me about the hard work, that is hard work, I think. If you tell that to a kid today, before the practice, can't you go out and play in the garden? Are you crazy? I mean, or after the practice, do you want to shoot some penalties? You know, football penalty. I mean, not many kids do that today,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to ask them. Nobody asked us. We just did it.
Right.
And I wasn't alone. Everybody did it.
Mm-hmm.
So this generation had that kind of hard work in another way.
What was your motivation for working hard like that? Was it just that, you know, this was all you wanted to do? Why did you have that drive? What was the motivation behind it?
It's why I didn't have anything else, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I was a foreigner. My parents were foreign. I was born in Sweden, but it wasn't that easy,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't have anything else. School, yeah, but I wasn't the master brain in math or physics or so. I mean, that was the thing. You know, you dreamed about to be a professional football player. That was the first. I mean, Baresi and Zico and all the Brazilian players, and I mean, Van Basten. That's the message of that time. But you dreamed about that,
Mm-hmm.
being a professional. That was the only thing that was in mind. I didn't have anything else in mind, and to open a restaurant.
That was your dream too.
Yeah, that was my dream.
Did you ever make that dream come true as well?
No, but I am. I didn't let the dream go. You know, I'm still young.
Yeah,
47.
you're never too old to open a restaurant.
No, so I cook every day,
Okay.
and I'm really interested in the gastronomy. So that's gonna come in couple of years.
Mm-hmm. I'll be there. Try it out.
I hope so.
What about today? Like, how do you think your motivation has changed through the year? Not your motivation, but what motivates you. Do you think those motivational factors have changed as you have grown older?
Yeah, it has, of course. Now, as a player, you just play. You don't really understand how much it is uh, behind the scenes, or how much a coach or management or a club is working for the players to be able to play and get some salary.
Right.
So when you have more information and you are say wiser, you understand suddenly that you know so little, you know.
Right.
And then you start studying more and more and more, and you more you study and you more you information you have, you more you know, you realize it's never gonna end. So my motivation is, of course, right now is to be so good at my job as possible, and that is to educate myself, to read books, to go to seminars, to watch more and differently games in a different aspect. So that is my motivation, to be better in all aspects of the game,
Mm-hmm.
not just as a coach.
But why? Why do you want to be better? Is it, you know, is it the players that motivate you to become better, or is it just like a
But
drive?
because as a coach and as a leader, you know, why am I a coach? You know, you have a team
Mm-hmm.
with, say, 20 individuals, and I like to make them better, you know. I like to make them better as a player, as a mentally and physically, tactically, whatever, you know. That is what drives me to make others better. So so they can say one day, my God, he learned me something, you know.
Right.
A coach, I mean, nobody knows everything, but I know that I know some things really good. And
Mm-hmm.
if I can manage to teach one, two, three players about that, and they can use it, and they can develop, and they can take the next step, and they can make a great career, then I'm satisfied.
Right. Awesome. But you had a great career as well, and you know your story seems to be really popular, and I think it's because it's an underdog story. You know, because the odds were stacked against you in terms of height. I looked it up. The average height in the 2016 Olympics was 191, and you're what,
66.
166? So it's more than 20 centimeters. How much? And people always talk about that. How much do you feel that your height was a disadvantage? Did you think about it at all?
Now, I didn't think it added. Of course, when you're a kid, you had of course, some other kids who make fun of you, and you. It was not bullying, but it was, I mean,
Teasing.
making, yeah, teasing,
Hmm.
making fun of the my my height. But it always went well. Always went well. Also when I mean, I remember I when I quit my handball career as a player, I got a book from my wife in present. I mean, I was 17 years in the first league,
Hmm.
so it was a lot of um newspapers from old times, and then one was 126 Vranjes, um, the best player in the final, something like that.
Hmm.
And I looked it up, and I was 14 years old. I was 126. That is really small, you know.
Hmm.
That is not much, but something happened. I managed still to play, and I was a playmaker also at that time.
Right.
So I wasn't the wing player, or I was a playmaker. So of course you get confidence also when you're young, and then coach when I was 17, they believed in me in the highest league in Sweden. You know, it was pretty good players over there.
Right.
I mean, Stefan Löfgren, I mean, Magnus Wislander, all the stars from over there. So it was confidence once more.
Hmm.
So confidence gave me pretty much a pretty high sort of belief in myself.
Did
And
you?
then I didn't see any obstacles. So I just saw opportunities instead of obstacles. You know, there is a space. Okay, it is. But if I move quick over there and then there, then you can't put the space together. And then I used that,
Right.
and then I saw, my God, it works. And if yeah, I got pretty much pretty many so hits in my face, but it worked. You know.
Yeah. Do you think that it was ever an advantage being that height? Because I saw a highlight clip from you, and I saw what you meant when you moved the player to the right, and then you went to the left, and I thought, uh, I would not want to try to keep that guy in front of me because your point of gravity was so low.
Yeah, and that is the advantage, of course, because there's, I mean, you said it yourself. 191 was the in the 2016 Olympics game, the average. I mean, it wasn't any different. They were, if not bigger, before, but that was my advantage.
Hmm.
That I was much faster, you know,
Hmm.
and I could change my directions really quickly.
Right.
So I could go full in one direction, and then really fast go full in the other. Um, that I notice today because hardly can walk.
Right. It takes a
but,
toll.
but yeah, but today is a little bit different. You know, today you have bigger players. They are much faster today.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit different today.
Right. What I am always curious about when I meet coaches that were successful players, because they know so much what it's like to be the player and being coached. And I want to ask you, do you think you were a coachable player?
Sometimes.
Would you have liked to coach yourself?
Oof, that would be. I think about it sometimes
Right.
as well. When I meet a player who I see a little bit myself in,
Yeah.
know? And from the beginning, uh, you just are happy to get a chance. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you go up and then you get a chance. You just fight for your chance. But then you get better and better, of course, if you use your chances and so on, and then you get smarter and wiser, and at the end, you think you're too wise, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good. And many players think they're very wise. But in an aspect from the coach, how you look, it's not just one player, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's difficult. I let the players who I see a little bit in myself, I let them play a little bit more creative. I let them be more creative. I let them choose their own path on the field, you know. But uh, because I'm a coach, I also want them to be more disciplined.
Right.
What I had at the end of my career that helped me really to win titles. Creativity is great, you know, but together with the discipline,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost unstoppable, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So some players have that today, and that's really nice to see.
Mm-hmm. At what point did you decide that you wanted to be a coach after your playing career would be over? Did you always have that end in mind where you said, I got 10 years left, and after that I'm going to start coaching? Or how was it?
No, I was my body said stop playing, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So I had to stop playing suddenly, and then what should I do, you know?
Okay.
So I got offers directly from different clubs in Sweden and Denmark to be a coach, and I took it, and then story changed once more, you know. Then suddenly Flensburg wanted me to stay as a sports director, and then I changed direction, and I was a sports director for one year and a half
Mm-hmm.
in Flensburg. Started to build team together with the coach there, and then in one moment I sat there before a border with 10 people and said, "You have to be coach tomorrow." And it was like, wow, that is difficult, you know,
Mm-hmm.
in Flensburg. And it was like, if I don't do it, I'm gonna get kicked out.
Right.
So I didn't really have any opportunities.
So,
So I did it,
mm-hmm.
and then it went well.
So you
And
can.
it was time. It was a time aspect, you know.
Right.
After a while, the players, as always, it's really important for a coach that players believe in you, and they showed it and told, "Can't you continue?" Okay, I continue, and then it started like that, and it was like step by step
Mm-hmm.
decision.
How was the transition from being a player at a high level then than to coaching? Was that anything that surprised you?
The hard work, so much work that was, and uh, um, suddenly everybody was like waiting for you to say something, and to make the tactics, and what is, I call it, what is the SWOT from our team, from the other team,
Mm-hmm.
everything on your shoulders. And today, it's not just handball, it's football, and all the sports actually. Today, the coaches are responsible for everything.
Mm-hmm.
If you lose or win a game, coaches are responsible. That's incredible. When we played, we were responsible.
Mm-hmm.
That's also a different thing. So you have a lot of pressure directly
Mm-hmm.
For the coach to manage to win games,
Mm-hmm.
and it was not easy,
No.
because they were friends, and suddenly you have
Right.
to tell your friend, uh, we have to do it like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we should do like,
Right.
no, we have to do it like that. Then it started. But I had great players in Flensburg who really were my friends, and they also had the respect. When we went into the court, they listened to what I said, and we went that way.
Mm-hmm.
That was fantastic. So
What would you say?
they helped me a lot.
Yeah. What would you say would be the most challenging season so far, and what was challenging about it, like as a coach?
For me,
Yeah.
the most challenging part.
No, the most challenging season, and what was the most challenging about it? Like, because you.
I have to tell. Of course, when you, most challenging, I have to say Veszprém.
Okay.
When I was in Veszprém, and once more, you think you know everything,
Mm-hmm.
You have, and that's not. I didn't think that I know everything, but in that sense, I had a confidence, and we're gonna win the Champions League with Veszprém and so on. But then after a while, you understand that handball and tactics isn't everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's a multicultural environment where I underestimated some things in this multicultural environment.
Mm-hmm.
And that I know now,
Mm-hmm.
of course.
Mm-hmm.
And if I do the same thing once more, I wouldn't do some things as I did
Right.
at that moment. So that was really challenging, because I went from a really safe environment to something that I really wanted to do,
Mm-hmm.
and thought, what a great chance,
Mm-hmm.
to do it, because I had a way to you talked about philosophy. I have a way to be as a coach, and I want to play in a way, and the club Veszprém wanted me to do this thing also in Veszprém, but as I said, I underestimated some things, and it didn't go. I mean, we lost 6 games in a year,
Mm-hmm.
but we lost wrong games.
Right.
With 1 goal 2 times,
Right.
and then suddenly that isn't enough.
That's a common story for successful coaches, that they start off in an environment, and it's kind of like their home environment, or they've been around that place, so it's kind of safe. And then they move to not necessarily the next level, but to a new place where everything's different, and they're not inbred, and that's where they kind of learn their humble lessons to take with him
Yeah,
to the next jobs.
yeah, and that is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
That the thing is, when you're in a safe environment, why are you in a safe environment as a coach? Um, it's because you've been there for many years.
Right.
You know, they have patience, they have continuity with the work. So it's not 1 year; it's 2, 3, 4, and then you see the results.
Mm-hmm.
It's not often you see results for 1 year, 2 years. If you have a same coach in 5 years, if it's a good coach, he will succeed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure of that.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter where he is or what he's, which club he has, in what level, he will succeed. So um, that is the main thing, and the other main thing, if we talk about that, money. You know,
Mm-hmm.
these big clubs have so much money that they think they can buy success,
Right.
and that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's in one time, yes, maybe, but passion will win titles, not money,
Mm-hmm.
and continues.
That's a really good point. So I want to ask you a little bit about coaching philosophy. And the first question that I think is relevant is just, how would you describe the job of a coach? Like what, and you said, they have to think about everything. What is it that a coach needs to think about?
First of all, the basic of the way I see handball.
Mm-hmm.
What is that, and why do I do things? Why do I want to be a coach? As we said it before, because I want to develop other people. I want to develop other players to be better, handball players, better human beings, and so on. That is why I'm doing it as a coach. Second thing is I love handball. I really love it. That's the basics in things. Then you come to strategy and the philosophy. Okay, I like defense. One way to play defense, and the goalkeeper is really important for me. So these two things are really important for me. Fast breaks comes after that. I really like fast handball. You know, to punish every mistake the opponent does. I wanna punish them with a fast break, and then after running back is the fourth thing. Not playing attack, because I wanna finish my fast break and then running back, and then if I can't do it, if the opponent are that good or they stop us and we don't, the ball gets, then we have the attack,
Mm-hmm.
and then running back,
Mm-hmm.
and that is something I also then, of course, train and analyze like this, and try to teach the players uh, this way of playing.
How much do you think, like, how much of coaching to you is handball specific, like tactics, skill development, and physical training, and how much of it is, all that mental and social stuff, leadership, emotions, team spirit? Like, how do you think? What does your time and energy go more into as a coach?
That I have to say, it depends where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Which team you have, what kind of players you have. I mean, the physics are really important to play the way I want to play.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have really great physics, um, and if you don't, it's going to be tough. So that's important for me. If he's a young player, he has to concentrate on physics a lot. An older player, if he doesn't have the physics, it's going to be tough to play the way I play, because if you never had the physics before, and he only played tactical, because that's not impossible, but it takes time to change that. Um, But I mean, if you have this basics,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm really tactical in my way to see things. I analyze a lot. So then it's, I mean, if I'm in a top club, highest level, with Slovenia, then we come to the, say, to national team week. You have 3 trainings before an important game.
Right.
I mean, I can't concentrate on physics.
Mm-hmm.
That is something they have to manage by themselves. Then it's only tactical, and then I start with the defense
Right.
and the goal.
Go from there.
So
How,
so it depends really where you are, and what in what how much time you have.
right. What about what is your philosophy on team spirit? Like, uh, would you say that you are good at creating good team spirit, and what do you do?
I think I'm good in creating a good team spirit. I think that, I mean, what I do, empathy. I mean, empathy is really important to be yourself, and to see other
What did you
players.
call it? What did you call it?
Empathy,
Empathy. Yeah. Right. Right.
So if you, of course, it's a job. You know, I got paid. The players got paid. A lot of people around are getting paid. But once more, you won't win championships or titles with money.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna win it with a team who, yes, they are individuals, but you're gonna win with a team who are a group of players who accept and expect the other guy to do everything for each other.
Mm-hmm.
If you come to that level, then as a coach, it's really easy, because then you just do the tactics,
Mm-hmm.
and then they in the group are taking responsibility for the actions they are doing on the field.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right. And when you say empathy, is that sort of like because you know what it's like to be a player, so you try to put yourself in their position and so on.
it's a lot of pressure. You know,
Yeah.
it's really a lot of pressure on the players today, and I don't think it's fair how, not only players and coaches as well, but mostly players, how they are, um, getting reactions from all over in social media
Right.
and newspapers, and everything they get today is, for me, too easy, and without any respect at all. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's a lot of hard work behind. Even if you didn't succeed, it's not like a player wants to miss a goal.
Mm-hmm.
I can promise you, every player wants to to score or stop in deep. You know,
Right.
it's a difficult thing for the player today. So as a coach, I need to stand in front of them and try to protect them,
Mm-hmm.
um, from
From
many things. You
from
know,
criticism and the media and all that.
yeah, because I mean, the sponsors and their own border. You know,
Right.
they also see. I mean, if you take the fans, they don't ever have the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
They only have this tunnel,
Mm-hmm.
and then of course you understand that the fans have this, and you can't also explain for everybody why things happen as they do.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're gonna really have a lot of things to do.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to accept that. But a club can also manage to put this in a direction that is okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you look on the social media today, the clubs who are protecting their own players, in social media is going pretty well, for those clubs.
That's
The
interesting.
clubs who are just going the way the fans are going
Mm-hmm.
is not going good.
Mm-hmm. That
So
makes sense.
you can control that as well as a club if you want to, or just uh, go the other way. And I think it's a really important thing for every club to think about, that are we going this way together, or are we going team one direction, club one direction? You can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of clubs, if you look at it in the social media today, are not going in the same way as the team.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. What about you as a coach? Like, what is your philosophy on giving criticism to the players, like on practice and games and all that
Uh,
stuff?
so in practice, I'm pretty hard. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I mean, also it depends on which, but I want development.
Mm-hmm.
So I am there. That's my basics. I'm there because I love it and because I want to make you better.
Mm-hmm.
But if you come to the practice and have, I mean, one bad day, I don't have any problems. 2 bad days, you can have that. I mean, maybe your kid is sick at home. I won't start. I will ask you how are you the first 2 times, but the third time I'm going to be pretty hard.
Yeah.
So because I'm giving everything that's going to make you a better player, and if you don't give that back, I mean, why are we on the same place? Why are we on the same court?
Mm-hmm.
I will give everything for that, but I need a response, and then I can be pretty hard there, and that's the same thing if you do tactics. If I want to play a defense in one way, and and it goes on 1 time, 2 times, but the third time I ask you if it's everything's fine. We talked about this. I showed you on the analyze and video, and that's depending on how old the player is as well.
Mm-hmm.
How I go with the criticism,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, it can also be a positive criticism. I can also say that in a way, because I always want to be. I can tell you, hey, that's not fine.
Mm-hmm.
What we are doing here, we talked about it for a couple of times, blah 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 blah. But then I always want to finish positive,
Mm-hmm.
and constructive. So if you do like this, you put your leg here, or you take one more step forward, then you won't have the situation. Are you with me?
Mm-hmm.
So I always try to, and then he says yes,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So many times you try to, as a coach, to change some things or tactical things, but the player and the players say yes afterwards. But it's not often, I will say 50-50, that he understood what I told him.
Yeah.
And then it
It's just
comes
safe to
once
say
more.
yes.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
said, okay, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. You understand? Yes, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying, can we take it one more
Mm-hmm.
time? I won't be mad.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, the next time,
You'll be mad if he f's it up in a game
that's the problem.
when he said he
And then
knew
he
it.
said yes,
Right.
and I really learned my lesson there, because some players, younger players mostly, are afraid to say something to the coach,
Mm-hmm.
depend in which culture you're working in. And then I learned a lesson, and then I said, okay, do you understand? Yes. Okay, show me. You teach me. What should I do? So he has to explain for me
Right.
what I should do. And then a young player, mostly, sometimes I really hope the older players are saying yes when they understand. But sometimes I do like, okay, show me how I should do it.
This is a very interesting topic because for younger coaches, you're always trying to figure out where to put that line, because you need criticism to develop player, but the short-term effect can often be negative. So it's a very important line to find. And I also wanted to ask you, when you're trying to find that line, what do you think is more dangerous, giving too little criticism or too much?
Also depending on the player.
Okay.
How is he? Is he a player who comes over there and really wants to learn, and have the will every time, and then I go in one way, Then I can be pretty easy with the criticism and hey, do it like this, okay? But if you have one player who has I know everything, and do it wrong for a lot of time, then I will put him down under the ground.
Right. What if you're not sure what kind of player he is? What do you take your chance on? Do you start off a little too criticizing or a little too soft?
Now, as a coach, one of the most important things is to read human beings. So I put them in different colors. I put them in red, yellow, green, blue colors.
Okay.
So, and they mean something to me. So I put the player in a yellow color. Okay, that's one type of person. A blue is one type of person. Red is one type of person, and so on. And then I try, and that I do not on the court. It's when I just take a coffee. You want to take coffee, and then start talking what's important in life, And I start to learn. Then I see him on field. I see how he is in the group with others. Is he taking responsibility, or is he just a guy who's standing next to and just listening what someone else is telling? Is he accepting everything, or is he coming with ideas? So I'm trying to read this.
It's like a personality psychology.
I criticize.
Right. So it's like
that is how I do it.
Like a personality assessment of the players. Yeah. Okay. What have been your biggest influences in coaching, and how have they influenced you?
That's I have a different how should I say, influences. Bengt Johansson, the Swedish national team coach.
Right.
He had a fantastic way to build a group of players. Maybe we weren't the best players we were really good players. I'm not saying that we weren't, and some of us did play in really good teams as well. But he managed to, what I told you, money isn't success. The group of players is the success. He managed that, So I took a lot of him. Many also. To build a team besides the field, I think is really important to do stuff together. Then you're gonna win titles. I'm really sure about this.
So
and every time I managed to put the group first, and they became a group of individuals that are making the team, and they are doing this energy inside this ball. They won titles.
What are the most important things you do to create that group dynamic?
I put them together. If you're in this world, some are coming together in this part. Some go over there, some go over there, because they are not. You have to also accept that they're different. They don't. You don't need to be the best friend with everyone. I'm not asking about that. I'm asking that they spend time together to understand each other's differences, and then to respect the others' differences. And if when a group of players then suddenly understand the other guy, he doesn't like him, but he understands him, respects him. he will do the job on the field much better on the, and that is why I do. I put them together. So if you have, we say, I learned a lot with this multicultural coaching. You know, if you have 3 Yugos, 2 German, 4 Swedes, 1 Norwegian, who's gonna be in the group? You know, the German's gonna go one way,
Mm-hmm.
the Swedes another, the Yugos another.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a Spanish guy also there, an Egyptian guy or whatever, you know, they don't go together.
Mm-hmm.
They don't speak the same language. They don't have the same religion. They don't have the same interests. So you will never put the group together. This takes time,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And if you don't give time for this, it's not going to work. But if I then, as a coach, put them together, look, we're going to have dinner together.
Right. Okay.
So we go eat to dinner together. Not this group eat dinner for themselves, not this group, but we're going to eat to get dinner together, and then we do this. Making, you know, in every team when you come, they sleep 2 and 2. And they always have the same players sleeping 2 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not different. But I slept with him I slept with him. I shared
That's a good way to build a group dynamic.
I shared the same room with him for 5 years, you know. Yeah, but now you're going to share the room for 2 weeks when we're on the way with him.
Yeah.
Learn how he is.
Right.
And he's going to learn how he is. And then suddenly I move the it's dangerous. I moved the stability in the team. But it's the only way also how to take the next step.
Right.
You know?
So you kind
and
of
that is also dangerous because me as a coach, I'm destroying the safety of a player.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're safe, you do a good job. But if you're not safe and you're not open for changing, it's gonna be really difficult.
Okay, so you basically try to force the group dynamic to change by putting different players together.
Yeah. That's Bengt Johansson. Then you have Kent-Harry Andersson.
Yeah.
Really tactical in things in handball. He was also a group discipline. We do this and this and this, and we played that. And then you have the creativity in this playing. So I learned a lot of him. And then we have two amazing coaches, Ola Lee and Reine Pedersen. Nobody knows about them. But if I say Stefan Löfgren, if I say Magnus Wislander, if I say Martin Fenn, if I say Peter Gens, if I say Ljubomir Vranjes, if I say I can Swedish national team, a lot of players,
mm-hmm.
they educated every player
mm-hmm.
from the basics of what handball is, and that is what I have also, and
mm-hmm.
that is why I also try to teach in my way to play handball. So these are the most important things.
Mm-hmm.
Then I look at the other coaches. I'm not stupid. I look at talent. I look Valero. I looked at Noka. And nowadays you have also really good coaches. Everybody's talking about the Spanish way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But what is the Spanish way? I mean, if you look, Nikolai,
mm-hmm.
Danish way, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
He had pretty much success last year. Why? Is it tactical? Is it a group thing, you know? Raul in PSG, Xavi in Barca, you know. And then you look at Vardar, who won the Champions League 2 times in the last years.
How important?
Who won the Champions League the last years?
Right.
You know.
How important do you think it is for younger coaches to find role models and be around other coaches to learn from them?
I think it's really important. I think it's really important to listen to. I'm only I'm only a coach for 10 years.
Right.
I mean, so 10 years is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
If I look at the other coaches around and I'm educating myself, shit, man, he has a lot of experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start talking about things, asking questions, and I want to learn, and then you do it. But it's also really important to go your own way.
Right.
So it's a balance. Don't think that you know everything. I
Mm-hmm.
will tell you that. Try to listen to someone who did the mistakes before you. I'm learning from my mistakes, but I try also to talk to others. What the hell happened there? And then you learn from them. So young coaches, if they're clever, they talk to older coaches and listen what they have to say about not just handball. Handball, you will. They probably have their own vision how they want to do things.
Right.
Um, but the other thing or everything around handball,
Mm-hmm.
um, that is something you only can have with experience. And young coaches don't have experience.
Right. What is the importance of planning, organizing, preparing yourself? And we talked about XPS earlier, and all that work, all that organizing, planning work. What is the importance of that in your career?
I mean, without XPS and without analyzing, and I don't have the safety. You know, I I I I prepare myself for every game
Mm-hmm.
at maximum. Then um, and if you have the games every third day, you're working non-stop. Um, so you prepare yourself for the games, but how do you prepare yourself for the games? You're in the practices.
Mm-hmm.
So you start to build practices with analyzing the games. What is important, um, but you can't win games if you don't develop the individuals in your team.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you do that, so it's complicated, to have the whole aspect of it. But what it does for me, it makes me safe that I'm prepared.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me calm in the games. I have everything under control. I have a plan A, plan B, plan C. What if? I mean, I'm a nerd in that way, so I can look back at the opponent and the coach, and I really want to know if if I punish him in my way, what is he going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And I have to look it up. I have to analyze that. So his way is if he plays a 3-2-1 defense, and what is his next step? If he does he do something, or is just okay? I'm going to lose the game,
Mm-hmm.
or he changed to 6-0. Then I need to know the weaknesses in the 6-0 and the strengths in the 6 winners. Where is our opportunities? And where are the threats from them? So, and if you analyze like that all the time, um, it makes you safe as a coach.
What
You know.
about practices? Do you plan every practice like into detail?
Yeah, I have from 2010 every practice every day
Wow.
in my books.
How valuable is that for you to have? You said you've used XPS for like 10 years. How valuable is it to be able to look back and see what you were doing 10 years ago as a coach?
But it's not only in 10 years. You can also go back and see. A team. I mean, a really good team has a high level.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost important. impossible to have the high level all the time. It's going to be downs and ups. And if you have injuries, whatever fans are saying or whatever coaches or newspapers are saying, it's going to go down maybe, you know. But if you have some structure in it in the training, you can see when it goes down, then you go, but why?
Mm-hmm.
Also, I always ask myself, why? Why is a fantastic question for yourself and for others. And then you can go back and you can say, okay, shit, I did this, yeah. I'm going to go back to the basics once more, you know. Or we have to train this and this to come on. So it's also a safety for me. It's really good, you know.
What would you then say to like younger coaches that have all these excuses not to put in the extra work for because it's time consuming and they're not coaching at a pro level yet and all that stuff? Like, when should you start to, you know, organize and plan these practices like that?
So why are you a coach? Ask them. They have to ask themselves, why are they coaches? So why are you doing it? I mean, is it just to have fun? And that's fine. I also have fun, but I mean, I want to develop. I want to learn, and how you're going to learn is to have control over your work, because then you have the development. You know, how are you going to know that you did a mistake? How are you going to know that you did right? You have to have that on paper, I say, but you can also have it on computer or wherever you have it. You have to be able to go back and to see what you did good, what you did wrong, and then you have to analyze it and take the next step. Is something working? Why is it working? Now you can't just think, I did a good thing, okay, and then you change, and then I mean, if something is working, you have to know why it's working, and then you have to continue this way. And if you change in something that is working and is going better, then you know also why. But you also know if it's not.
It's like
So
a scientific approach to coaching.
I mean, it helps really a lot, you know. And if you take it as a habit to do it, I'm not saying that it doesn't take time. It takes a lot of time. But if you take it as a habit and you have your time, you sit between, I don't know, from 6 a.m. in the morning to 8 o'clock in the evening. You have analyzing the 3-4 hours. Then you stop. You take some break. Then you make the practice. Then you go to the practice. You have the practice. Then you go back. What did work? You analyze that one, and then at 10 o'clock in the evening you do the no practice, and then it goes on, you know.
Right.
So it's a way of living. I know why I'm doing this, you know. I didn't have a break for 10 years, so that's also a big, how do you say, big thing. And now I have so much energy. I'm really focused on what I want to do in the future right now. So um, I'm just I'm not telling, but I'm suggesting that the younger coaches, should really try to write down what they are doing.
That's interesting that you say you're really focused on the future. Before we get into like handball specific stuff, what are your plans for the future? Like, how do you, what is your goal setting? Because it's easy when you're young. It's just like, you know, you have, there's such a, it's so obvious what is up when you're young. But like when you reach a certain point, how is your goal setting process today? Where are you going?
No, where I'm going, yeah. Um, you know, I'm hungry for titles, and I want to win titles, but it's also like this. How can you win titles? Uh, it's with a team. and I want to build a team, and that is where I'm going in the future. So I want to build a team, and I want to do it step by step. The goals are the same: develop the individual, develop the team, develop the club that I'm in, and do it continuously. Not 1 year, some years, and then you're gonna have success. I'm really, as I told you before, I'm really how do you say? I know that's gonna happen. So that is what I'm gonna do in the future.
Awesome. Okay, so now I want to move into more handball specific questions, and these are some of the questions that people sent us before the episode when they knew that you were going to be on here. And one question is, how much do you still develop your playing style as a coach?
Right now, a lot. Okay, that is also, it's pretty hard for a coach or for a player, it doesn't matter which sport, to say to yourself that that wasn't good, I made wrong, I should think over it again. I believe in what I do, but I also see that some things are better in other places. So I take that. I'm proud. Everybody's proud. Everyone has his own ego and so on, but I'm aware about that now. So yes, I'm developing my play, and I'm developing it in that way that I want to use every individual in the team to be his best self. And if that's my philosophy, like defense, goalkeeper, running fast, if that doesn't work for some players, I have to change, because that player has qualities, because he's in the team, in the first division, in a professional league. He has qualities. I can't be that stubborn to tell myself that if he can't play my way, I can't use him. I learned that. So yes, I'm developing myself, and I'm developing the way I want to play. And if I want to be in the top level coaches, I have to do it as well. I have to develop myself in that way.
How do you conduct your video meetings before games? How is what's the purpose of it, and how do you go about it?
Different ways. First of all, it's in different levels. The first level is I watch myself, and then I come to the practice and I explain in the practice. So I explain in the practice how we want to do it in the first practice. Depends how much time I have also. The second thing, I take the team. The second thing, I send what I explained to the players. I send it to them so they can watch it on the phone or whatever, the iPad or the computer. So they watch what we talked about and what I meant. They watch it. And the third is we have the practice once more. We go through again. I explain it again. And then we have the last meeting before the game. We have also a video meeting. And then day before practice, we do everything tactical.
Right. So in a perfect situation, you watch it by yourself first, and you're talking about watching the other team play.
Yeah.
So you watch
our team.
Yeah, or your team. So you watch the video first by yourself. You go over it in practice. Then you send it to the players. You go over to practice again, and then a team video meeting before the game.
And then we have the last practice before the game.
Right. Okay. What do you feel about 7 versus 6? You know, when you bring the goalkeeper out in offense.
I think it's a pretty much a boring way to look at handball.
Yeah.
I'm pretty honest there. I don't like it. I don't like to watch it. I don't like to see the long ball go into the goal. But it's a way to stress
Kind of create chaos or something.
one each other. You can stress it as a defender, but you can also stress it as a attacker. You know, and let's say if you are in a difficult situation in a game, you can manage to change the result.
Because it kind of creates chaos or.
Yeah, you can do that.
Right.
You can mean. I mean, if for example, I play against a much better team, I can have a chance maybe in some part of the game to play 7-6 and play equal or win with 1-2 goals.
Do you think maybe you lose an opportunity to improve in handball if you take that tactic when playing a better team?
I will go. I will go. If I had the one, I will go 5 against 5, and not 7 against 6.
Right.
To play handball,
Mm-hmm.
you know. I would do. I would make more space,
Right.
not make the space smaller. I want more space. I want the attractive handball. I want them to run. I want hard, explosive. I mean, fun handball where you can move on the field. More in direction basketball.
Right.
Then more than I don't know what I should call 7-6.
More dunks.
Yeah, more dunks.
Right. Related to that, what do you think about adding a shot clock to handball? You know, being a basketball guy, that's a no-brainer to me. But what do you think?
I think it's really necessary in handball to, with a shot clock or in some way, manage to have the same time for every team to play attack.
Mm-hmm.
Today, one team plays 35 seconds, the other team plays 60 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take that in 60 minutes, that the other team plays at least 20 seconds more every time.
Wow.
It's a lot of, and I can promise you, every game is like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked about this with some judges, referees.
Right.
And it's really funny, but because some of them say, yeah, but we think like this, you know. If you don't go at goal, it's 30 seconds. Sometimes you got goal, then you have 60 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next game comes, we go at the goal, but we only have 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But I just talked to the referees. You know, it's not fair for the clubs. It's not fair for the referees.
It would make their job a lot easier.
Excuse me?
It would make their job a lot easier too.
It's going to help the referees as well, you know, and it's going to help the audience as well. Everybody knows it. And the referee can't control the game.
Right. You talked a little bit earlier about physical training and how that's a big part of your program, maybe the biggest part. How do you approach it during the season and then off season?
But also depending, if you're playing every third game,
right.
Every third day,
yeah,
it's really difficult to have a training that is going to make some players stronger. You have to keep the muscles in shape, you know. Then you have injuries. They're not that serious, but you have to have the rehab trainings, you know. and that is the only thing you do between the games. And then you have tactical trainings and so on, and then the videos, and so you don't have really that much time to do that. So you have to do it, and then you take help from others to control that, the physical trainers, to manage that, because you're sitting in front of a computer.
Mhm.
And then in the then you have the preseason, and you have to do the work.
Mhm.
You really have to do the work.
So.
And I'm not. I mean, I've been. I'm not saying that I know everything, but I've been in some training camps and watched other clubs train, and you see, okay, they're really good now. They play handball, they're fast, but every time they die in the end of the season,
Mhm.
same clubs, and they wonder why. So if you write down what you did in June, July, and August, and you fall down in March or April every year, you can go back. Why am I falling in March or April?
Right.
So it's really the basics. You have to train like an animal there, and it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be, maybe the results in the practice games are not going to be the best. you know Maybe you're gonna have in August, September, not the best. Depends. I look, who am I competing against in September? Is it a top level game directly? Then I have to have the peak performance there.
Mhm.
So depending also how I have to look, how is the gaming schedule as well.
Mhm.
Not but you have to do the work.
But that's an interesting point, because you're saying the physical shape of your players during the last games is created before the season starts, which sounds obvious when I say it, but that's not maybe how everybody views it. So.
Because um, I know it. I have I wrote down everything.
Mhm.
If you don't do it, what are you going to do when you play every third day? You can't build muscles. You have to keep your muscles. You know. So, and how do you get your explosivity? Muscles. You're gonna build them in June, July, and August, and then you have the January. If you don't play with a national team, you have time to build once more. But if the best players are playing with the national team,
Mhm.
they don't even have a break there to build the muscles up once more. So they also have. It's really difficult, you
Mhm.
know. And then they ask themselves, why are we having injured players?
Right.
It's all there. It's all there on the paper. Why? Um, so it's really important. Yes, I think the physical preparation in the season is really important. What is also really important, when you quit the first in December, end of December, when you quit, you have to have regeneration. You have to calm down your body and so on. But you can't have it too long.
Mhm.
If you have it too long, it's also bad.
Mhm.
So you have to have this balance. When I'm starting the new building up trainings, 2 days too short, 4 days too. You have to know it as a coach.
Mhm.
Then you have the physical coaches as well who helps you, and the doctors and so on. So you have to take the team behind the team to really know what they are doing.
Mhm. That's good stuff, man. Uh, in the end, uh, because we're coming towards the end here, what would be your most important advice to younger, ambitious coaches, starting off in handball?
Once more, um, have focus on what you're doing, and why you're doing it. Keep yourself asking you why, um, and every day focus on the job. If you don't have it, you're going to fall down because it's a lot of traps out there. You know, it's a party, it's a girl, it's whatever. I have a family, and I have to. And I was dead after my years in Flensburg, so
What do you mean
I really
dead?
needed a break
Yeah.
from the whole environment. My family took some punches, so I needed to go back to my family, and because it's not easy, but you have to suffer in everything you do. You have to suffer in one way. But if you have focus and you ask yourself all the time why, I mean, not only why you're doing it, why are we practicing this?
Mm-hmm.
Why is the player doing this? Why? So it's a really good thing to ask yourself.
What do you do when you ask yourself why and you find that it's hard to answer that question? For example, why are you coaching? And you're like, you know, have you ever experienced that, you know, that the motivation isn't quite there and you don't have the why right now?
So, I mean, ask my dad that question 1,000 times, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You ask yourself, why are you coaching? You mean, I have 10 years now. I think I have 37 medals in 10 years. But I really had some bad moments in my 10 years, you know. So every time I lose a game, I lose a player, the confidence, you know, you ask yourself why. I mean, why am I a coach? You know, why you lose the championship, you lose whatever. You ask yourself, why am I doing it? You know, is it worth it? And you have your dips and downs. It's gonna be normal, but I mean, you won't always succeed. You won't do it. I can promise you. You won't always have success. You're gonna get beaten a lot of times, and you're gonna lose a lot of games. But the beautiful part of it is you're gonna win some games as well, and that you have to have in mind. Think positive. Think for the future. And if you lose a game, why did you lose a game?
Mm-hmm.
And go back. And don't do the same mistake once more.
They'll edit it out.
Yeah.
Put a beep on there. But yeah. So I would say the key word after this episode will be why.
Yeah.
That might be what we call it.
Yeah. You can do that if you want to.
Listen, Lupa, it's been a pleasure talking with you, and I hope you had a good time too.
I had a really good time. Thank you.
Awesome. And I hope our listeners had a good time listening, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for doing this.
No problem at all. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.